So today we're going to talk about how magical the emotion of disappointment is. I just found a deer tick on my dog, and also I was hoping that he would leave me alone and let me make this video, but instead he found this snake in the woods that I bought him a couple days ago at Walmart, and he lost in the woods. So he lost his brand new toy. But you know the snake or the stick analogy? Well, this is what the snake really is. So anyway, I can say that I live in like one of the areas where we don't have poisonous snakes. So doubt and disappointment. So doubt is really what you get by believing yourself to be the knower or the controller or the one who has to make it all happen and make the right decisions over the wrong decisions and all of that. And it actually, what it does is completely clouds over the clarity of true guidance because doubt feels bad. It's as simple as that. And so what's incredible is that disappointment is on the emotional scale, the emotion that's above doubt or feels better than doubt. And so I think what's meant in a lot of spiritual teachings as letting go is really letting oneself experience the emotion of disappointment to get out of that loop of trying to figure it out. What's also incredibly synchronistic is that disappointment, no longer being the appointed one who has to figure this out and has to make the right decision, by disappointing yourself from that position, it's a relief. It's a massive relief, and yet we often avoid disappointment because we think it's giving up in some way. In a material world with material things, there are things that can be given up. So it doesn't actually mean that you're really giving up on anything, but the insistence that you be the one to figure it out. This also applies to people, spiritual teachers, relationships, in that we find ourselves disappointed in people and disappointed in teachers, or going through this cycle where we put our hope in them or we're fascinated by them, and we don't see that everything is a reflection of ourselves really, and that no one is enlightened and nobody is wise and nobody has knowledge. What an incredibly disappointing thing to say for one who has been wise enough to have the knowledge that there's nothing more important than wisdom and knowledge. There's really nobody who's wise here. It's an illusion. And so that you can be foolish is actually created by the idea that you can be foolish. Because in fact, that's the snake. Believing this to be a poisonous snake would be a hilarious mistake to make. But it seems really foolish when it's real. And it seems foolish to stop and investigate the screen when you're in the midst of it. And it seems foolish to stop and investigate the screen when nothing is happening, because it seems as if there should be things that are happening. So nothing is happening, and there's nobody whose job it is to make it happen. There's nobody else's job, and it's also not your job. So disappointment can be in somebody else or can be in you, it really doesn't matter what the subject is, because there isn't really that separation, just the guidance of the emotion. So when we attract something that we don't like, it's actually a gift arriving in some pretty hideous wrapping paper. And it's a lot like a boomerang, or like throwing the snake toy for my dog. It just keeps coming back. It keeps coming back until we are willing to receive it or to see it in a completely new way, because the old way was in rejecting it. And in rejecting it, it is throwing the boomerang. This one squeaks. So you can seemingly do this all day. That one didn't go very far. And he's not happy about it. But it's not getting you anywhere. It's the hamster wheel. And so it's actually inaction, which in a material world we would think was literally inaction, but isn't inaction, and is simply just receiving the emotion, no matter how it appears, what we're doing at the time. If it appears like action or not, there really isn't that outside perspective looking and saying, oh, you're hard at work, or oh, you're sitting and doing nothing in your house on a retreat or something. It really doesn't matter. It's completely on the fly. It's that good. It's not circumstantial. You can catch the boomerang from wherever you stand. And sometimes it is helpful to allow yourself to take a break, to allow yourself the meditation, to allow yourself the time off, or the less pressure on yourself, which can therefore attract realizing that there is no reason to put pressure on yourself. And there's no failure when the boomerang comes back and hits you upside the head. It's actually really very funny. So this whole idea that we're the ones who get it, and we're like the hero in the story who has to resolve it all, and realizing that that's not the case, seems disappointing still for the character, because disappointment is still for the character, and yet is the way to realizing that there is indeed no character, that one's true self is neither the author and neither the witness, but not an exclusion of either.